Welcome to the state of PA football as PA Football News presents its weekly look at high school football across the state.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in.
Did you know there are 555 total high school football programs in the state? Did you also know there are a total of 58 college programs ranging from D1 to D3 in the state of Pennsylvania? Whether you're a bulldog, a lion, a crusader, an eagle, or a millionaire, we got you covered.
You already know, turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. So fight and die.
Here at PA Football News, we got you covered. And now, your host, Billy Splay.
And welcome to the state of PA football. We're going into the third weekend of playoffs here in Pennsylvania, the state playoff round. Here we go. What a great weekend last weekend. No surprises around the state, but there were maybe 2 or 3 upsets. So this is the state of PA football. I'm Billy Splay, the owner. Over here on this side, that's J-Man, the Jared. He's from District 2, but he knows a lot about a lot of places. Over here, there is nobody that knows more about Pub League than this guy right here. Anthony, down here, Mr. Matt, the traveling man. And over here, we got Willie. Everybody knows me in District 1, McGonigal. Hey, guys, how's it going, man? Last week, what are your thoughts, Jared?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we didn't have many surprises up here. Maybe Delaware Valley was a little bit of a surprise, but we really didn't have it. And weather was the story last week, wind and rain. It was crazy. So the teams that dealt with that and were able to overcome that did well.
I know down where me and Anthony are, the big shocker is, or except me and Anthony saw it coming, was O'Hara knocking off the defending 4A champion Bonner and doing it in rather convincing fashion. I will say I expected O'Hara to win, but I did not expect them to win by the margin that they did. So that's a great win for Mike Ewing. He's done a great job building back up the program, and now he gets to do something. Now he got a chance to do something that no other O'Hara football team has done, and that's win a district championship this weekend.
Don't forget about that PJP upset too.
The biggest shock there was when they played in the regular season, Shanahan turned over the ball 4 times. This time they flipped the script and forced 5 turnovers. So not only did they completely reverse it, they won up PJP on it, and they finally got that thorn out of their side.
Yeah,
following up on Willie, for District 12, I felt everything went according to plan. The MOTEP Lincoln game, I expected it to be a little closer. Really wasn't much offense in that game. But I think the consensus was that MOTEP would win that rematch because they were upset, just 2 weeks prior.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was a surprise for a lot of people, but maybe by record was Scranton Prep's win against Berwick. So, of course, anytime you have an undefeated team, and I think what Prep was like 6-4, 5-5 going into that game, something like that, 6-5.
6-5. Yep.
Maybe a lot. Yeah, so maybe a lot of people were surprised just because of the record, but we'll talk more about it later. But Scranton Prep, very impressive team, and tough loss for Berwick. What a great season, and it's good to see Berwick football's back.
Yeah, it's a good rebuild season. I think one of the winners this weekend was the weather. The rain actually was a big winner this weekend. And, we saw a couple, and I don't like to do this, but we saw a couple of calls by the referees that did not and may have played a part in the game. The Penn Trafford call was a little rough. to watch. When you saw the video, it was like, come on, he wasn't down. But then, I had an inadvertent whistle at my game that called back what was probably going to be a 97-yard touchdown run. But the rain and the wind, to be honest, I don't think it affected any team at all this weekend. I heard very few complaints about the weather, and it was nasty out there in some of these areas. I mean, Jared said they got like a deluge. Where I was at in Line Mountain, it rained, but it wasn't anything bad. And then 20 miles away where you were, Matt, it poured. And so the weather was like all over the place, but I don't think it affected any teams at all. It didn't affect the ones I saw. And then I guess like you could call this a surprise too. Williams Valley just completely dismantled a good Minersville football team, and that surprised me. But we both know that Minersville's defenses were kind of suspect. Out west, you go out west, and it was business as usual for most teams, except for Hollidaysburg. They did have a close game up against Du Bois, and from what I understand, Du Bois had the ball late in the game. Hollidaysburg had to make a stop, and then Clairton had to play some defense too in order to win their game against Jeanette. So Jeanette, what a great season this year. What a good season by Jeanette, the Jayhawks. Things kind of played out up north in District 10 where Shane's at. He may be joining us a little bit later on, Shane Lux. Sharon and Hickory are going to play this week. Farrell rolled this week. I don't think there were many other surprises at all this week. Laurel, I thought was going to make it, and they did. And, Bishop Canavan, that's a big game, Bishop Canavan. A lot of people are overlooking that one. We're going to talk about all these games, but what we're going to talk about right now is our sponsors for the bracket pages. NFHS Network, you will find every single game listed on our website. All you got to do is go to the brackets right here. You see the games listed in red right here. As soon as you see these games, you click on it, and it's going to tell you, it's going to take you right to the link to watch it on NFHS. There is no better way to watch NFHS football than going through pafootballnews.com. No better way to watch a football game than live. But if you want to watch one while you're live, go to NFHS. CoachCom, the Cobalt Plus all-in-one system, the ultimate coaching head system, and Safer Sports, making helmet covers to keep our kids safe. And everything here is powered by Circle W Sports. Ed Weaver and Circle W Sports keeps our website rolling and keeps our brackets happy. So, guys, let's get right to the brackets. Let's get to the 1A bracket. Let's head out west. Let's go to Fort Cherry and Laurel. Fort Cherry with a win over Neshannock. Laurel with a win over Chartiers Houston. Clairton and Canavan. Canavan took down Fraser. Clairton had a tough game against Jeanette, the Jayhawks. Thoughts on that game? Matt Sig, who, by the way, was in Notre Dame this weekend. If that means anything to you Penn State fans up there.
Yeah, things are getting dicey for Matt Sig, right? So the exodus from Penn State continues. I'm not sure he has closed the door on that yet, but some doors have definitely opened up. I know West Virginia is in play for him. I think he actually was quoted as saying anywhere James Franklin goes is also open for him, which is interesting.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't trust that quote knowing the source. So
okay, all right. So maybe that's not as solid as, but anyway. Yeah. So I think it was pretty much chalk across the board for the Whitfield. Clairton, like you said, interesting game. Jeanette, don't forget last year, I think as a 13 seed, made it to the semifinal. So they were, they kind of maybe pick up some steam in the playoffs. But look, Clairton had to play defense the last 2 minutes of the game to win that game. So great for Jeanette. See that program getting back together again, but pretty much chalk in the Whitfield.
Yeah, Canavan had a pretty easy game against Fraser, 50-7. Canavan's been rolling. We talked about Canavan last week. They've just been rolling and rolling and rolling. And, this actually, to me, looks like one of the top games of the week in single A, if not the top game of the week in single A. It's going to be one heck of a game. Although I'm safe to say that's the game of the week in the single A. All right, let's go to the other side of the bracket. Today's going to be quick, and it's kind of depressing, guys, because it snowed today. Yesterday, I put a picture out of snow on top of the fall leaves. Today, all the leaves are gone, and there's snow on the ground. So it was like yesterday, old man Winter said, "Hi, what's up?" And today, I went, "Get the hell out of the way, I'm coming." So
Yeah, it was a little cold today.
Yeah, we got snow up here, Willie.
Willie, my son's in Radnor, and he texted me this morning. He said, "Dad, it's 23 degrees here," and I said, "Are you kidding me? That's crazy cold down there."
Radnor's just a few minutes from my house, so yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, one of our pastors just got home from Florida yesterday. She said it was only 50 down there.
Ooh.
Yeah, all the way up down the East Coast. But it's depressing because this show's not going to take as long because gentlemen, 48 games this week, guys.
Yeah.
48, and then we have 43 of 47. Let's see, we're short 4, so we have 44 games covered this weekend.
Wow.
So pretty impressive stat there for our team. Wilmington and Greenville, Port Allegheny and Red Bank. Wilmington rolled this weekend, 42-7 over Cambridge Springs. Greenville, 27-14. It's been a great year for Greenville. Wilmington running the ball and passing the ball, very balanced football team. Port Allegheny and Red Bank. We mentioned last week, this was a couple of years ago, this was a game that you had no idea. But right now, I think Red Bank, they got a nice win over Union AC Valley. Braylon Wagner is playing some good football. I feel like we've been saying his name for 20 years, Matt Braylon Wagner. And then there's another running back on the other side of the ball from Port Allegheny named Bush. And, it just seems like these two guys have been around forever. But I think that's just a testament to how many times you say their names every year.
Yeah, and they're toting the rock. Aiden Bliss is a 50 carry a game type kid. Everything hinges on, of course, their offensive line too, but his performance. So, I'm sure as it gets colder, tackling Aiden Bliss gets tougher and tougher.
Yeah, it does. I think so. Let's go over to 6A, or to the 6A, to the District 6 side of the bracket. You've got Bishop Guilfoyle. Juniata Valley has just been kind of slugging along here and doing their thing. And here they are, 10-2. Guilfoyle's 10-2. Could this be a toss-up game? I don't know. Juniata Valley, I don't know if they have the horses. Guilfoyle's 2 losses came to much better football teams. So I think it's going to be a good football game down at it's one of my favorite places is Mansion Park in Altoona. Willie, you got to come up to Altoona in 2 weeks when we're all there. You got to take that Saturday off and you got to come to Mansion Park, right, Matt?
Yeah, that's Mansion Park hosts some of the best games. State semifinals are usually there for at least a team or two. And sometimes those semifinals are better than state finals, So Mansion Park, great host. And a very cold spot, man. One of the coldest spots to watch a game.
Yeah, then Mansion Park is Guilfoyle's home field, actually. But the way it works out, they need that field. And so, and Phil Riccio's a great host. He does a great job. He takes care of everybody. And, that's my home away from home when we hit November. We go there all the time. So Willie, you got to come on up, bring Ant with you, and then we'll take you over to the Jared. You too, man. No, you're going to be covering the game, Jared. So don't worry about it.
Guaranteed.
Actually, no. You know what? That's usually the only game in town, isn't it, Matt? Yeah, I think so.
If it's the 22nd, I'm not going to be able to make it. But if that's at state semifinal weekend, yeah, maybe.
28th.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, sometimes you can catch one time I hit a couples stadium afternoon game and then Altoona on the way home.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And then
Sounds
we hit
very enticing.
And then it's off to Knickerbocker Cafe. You want to talk about killer food? Dude, I'm telling you right now. Killer food. And you can walk to it. You can walk to it from the stadium. That's awesome. So yeah, Guilfoyle doing a thing. They got Justin Wheeler, the coach's son at quarterback, and they're just doing their thing and rocking along. I think he has 1,900 yards. They've got four offensive linemen that are defensive linemen that they say, according to their stats, have over 400 tackles on the year. So they must have some kind of fancy wall built up on that defense. The game that has me most interested is Myersdale and Westinghouse. Myersdale finished the season undefeated. And there they are, Matt, the lone District 5 team fighting to end the only streak left. And that is what district has no titles.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're well aware, of that streak. I'm sure, everybody's looking for a district title. We talk about this quite a bit. Like, this is the week that good teams lose. So there's a lot of teams that have had really nice seasons. And unfortunately, somebody's got to advance and somebody's got to go home. So sometimes good teams go home, great teams advance, and I'm sure they're looking to make that trek to Cumberland Valley.
Yeah, the Westinghouse Bulldogs. I mean, it's hard to get a grip on those guys. I've seen a couple of games. They don't look like the juggernaut that they have the last couple of games, but they still are a good, talented football team. So that game has me very interested. Anthony, the next game that we're going to talk about, the bottom side of that bracket, York Catholic versus Belmont Charter. York Catholic got there with a win over over Delone Catholic. Both teams struggled mightily throughout the season. 4-6 Delone, 6-4 York Catholic, but Belmont Charter flying high this year.
Yeah, Belmont is full of athletes, and surprisingly, they're doing it with a freshman quarterback. So the one thing I've noticed with Belmont this year is they're a lot more disciplined than they were in previous years. So I think they'll be more competitive, going forward in the state playoffs. But they have athletes that, of course, small school, you're playing both sides of the ball. And they're big up front on the line, surprisingly.
So what kind of offense for those people out there that don't know? Like, there's a lot of people that don't even know what Belmont Charter is or where it is. What kind of offense and what kind of defense are they running down there?
So offense, they throw the ball a lot, but they have spread formations. Their quarterback is a dual threat. They'll use a wide receiver and throw him at running back or H-back, or they'll run multiple sets of offense. And it's kind of hard because they play fast tempo. Everything is quick. So for defenses, you have to, read your keys and know exactly, who's where. The good thing about Belmont this year is, as opposed to previous years, it seems like the kids are more bought into the offense. So I've covered 3 of their games this year. And each game that I went to, it seemed like the offense picked it up more. They don't score a bunch of points in the public league because they're the only 1A team. So they're playing 5 and 6A teams with more depth. But they went 8-1, or get 8-1 within league play.
Piggybacking off of what Anthony said, there I can definitely tell because I'm fortunate to actually work with one of their assistant coaches, and there seems to be excitement throughout with him and his teammates and his team about getting to compete at the state level, and they feel as if they could make some noise in the state level, and it's great to see a team like Belmont being able to do that.
Yeah, it is. And, we're not talking about York Catholic much. I'm going to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about York Catholic. They kind of came in off the radar and flew underneath, and then all of a sudden, boom, there's York Catholic in there. So I'd like to talk more about York Catholic, but I honestly don't know a whole lot about their team. And I looked up, it's hard to find stats on team. I couldn't find anything on York Catholic. So I apologize to all you York Catholic fans. I wish I knew more. If anybody out there wants to help us out next week, if they win, hey, give me a call. My number's on the website. Down in the last quarter of that bracket, the 1A bracket, we've got Lion Mountain defeated Montgomery last week in a stellar. I mean, like I covered this game and it was one of the best games I've seen all year long. Went down to the wire. Line Mountain got the score. Caden Marr threw a touchdown pass and to Zeltzer, and they didn't get the extra point, and we were all standing around going, oh, well, there's 6 minutes left and they didn't get the extra point. The home team's going to be really upset. And luckily for Line Mountain, they held them. Montgomery is every bit deserving of the ranking we gave them a couple of weeks ago. Scrappy, good football team. Caden Moore, very good athlete. He could have broke one loose, but it got called back for an inadvertent whistle. Would have went for 97 yards. He could throw the ball. He's got an arm. He's got a gun. And Lion Mountain has a kicker, and they have a creative offensive coordinator who the first score of the game was a fake field goal. And what I couldn't believe is they converted on 5 fourth-down attempts in the entire game. That's pretty rare. They're going to take on somebody Jared's very familiar with, Lackawanna Trail.
Yeah, I've been kind of looking towards this game for quite a while. Just the way that that the bracket laid out. I think we all knew that as long as Trail continued to take care of business, that they have faced Line Mountain in this one. And this honestly is a game I've been looking forward to all year. The story for Lackawanna Trail, there has been 3 things. One, it's the running back, Isaac Ryan. The kid is, everybody knows he's going to run the ball. Everybody knows he's getting the ball, and nobody's able to stop him. I mean, everybody that they play knows Ryan's running the ball, and no one can stop this kid. He had 19 rushes for 319 yards and 5 touchdowns. Okay, I mean, in a playoff game. I mean, he just continues to get it done. The second thing is that wing tee offense that they run. It's very deceptive and it's hard to handle. And they run it very, very well. You a lot of times when you're filming, you don't know who's getting the ball. It's that tough. But it's really the defense that's come into play. I would say probably the last 3-4 weeks. They've really, really stepped it up. Even though this game was tied at 14, their defense made the quick adjustment and shut Tri-Valley down for the rest of the game and just rolled them. So I'll tell you, it's that. But third of all, I think really the biggest thing that puts Trail in this position is that coaching staff. They've got the guys. You'd think there's a team, there's a school out there that probably has 80 boys in the whole school, and you're getting this kind of a team, and you've got a huge coaching staff. Must have like 11 coaches. But each one of them has an intricate part in this thing, and the way they adjust on the fly and they're ready to go has me so excited about this game. I'm going Saturday afternoon. It's at Shamokin, so can't wait for this one. It's going to be a great game.
That's your reward. You get to go cover that one.
I love it.
But you have to sacrifice your Friday night and travel for PA football news. But
hey, man, I get to go to McDevitt. It's cool.
Team, so that's awesome.
That's cool. I'm good to do it. That's fine. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, you're getting it. So we have a couple of guys like Matt, Davin, myself, a bunch of us, we like to travel and see teams all over the place, and it's fun. And someday I hope a lot of other guys on our staff get to do that because, of course, Pro Time travels a lot. And Shane travels so much, like he's coming all the way from Butler, PA. They're going to the Easton Phillipsburg game on Thanksgiving. And then I guess he's going to come back home, and on his way back through, he said he's going to stop at our church. We're serving Thanksgiving dinner at our church for a community dinner. So he said he's going to stop by. But him and his dad travel a lot too. They go to West Virginia, Ohio. They go to New York. They come all the way east, not just Cumberland Valley. So they travel all over. But traveling to go see football is something that, how can I forget Psychotic? I mean, there is nobody that travels more to see high school football than that man right there. And he's one of our own, and he travels the entire country every week. and he'll cover 6-7 games. So he's pretty amazing too. But you got to love high school football, and I do. I love high school football. I know Matt does, and everybody here on this board does. I mean, Anthony, there's nobody that covers the public better than Anthony. I'll be like, anybody get the score? And he'll be like, I already messaged the coach. So I'm just like, all right, I'll wait. But hey, that's our 1A breakdown for the brackets. It's going to be a couple of interesting games. I think the Clareton-Canavan game is a big game this week. I think Guilfoyle-Juniata might be a tougher game than a lot of people think, but that Line Mountain-Lackawanna Trail game, that's going to be exciting. The one thing about that game, I will say this before we move on to 4A, is Montgomery kind of ran a little misdirection, as well, just like Lackawanna Trail did, and that gave Line Mountain fits. So that might be something. I guarantee you that's something that Steve Jervis took a look at and saw.
Right, and we'll have to see if Line Mountain says, "Hey, I'm facing this again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." And that's really that to me is the story of the game. How do they adjust? So
it wasn't a true wing tee. It was more kind of what Southern Columbia runs, with the inside handoff, a little bit like coming out of the pistol, a little bit what Southern runs. So it'll be interesting to see. Of course, Knoble, the head coach Knoble, that's a Ely'sburg name, right, Matt?
Yeah, there's a few Knobles that live in Ely'sburg, just a few.
Just a few. That's right. Just a few. All right. Well, hey, that's the 6A or the 1A breakdown on the state of PA football. Happy to bring that to you guys. We're going to take a break. We're going to hear from some of our sponsors, and we will be back with the 4A breakdown right after these words from our sponsors.
You want to be able to play as hard as you can, as safe as you can.
Whenever I have the safe cap on, it absorbs most of the blow.
You can tell it's a little bit softer. When you get hit, it's just like kind of bounces off instead of reverberates through your helmet.
So when we look at those tests, when we had a safer cover on a football helmet, on average, it reduced accelerations by 11%.
My name is Carlos Bradley. I'm a former NFL player and currently chairman of Safer Sports. What is Safer Sports? We are a soft shell technology company. Our product, the Safer Helmet Cover, has been tested at Virginia Tech Helmet Lab and is proven to reduce the risk of concussion by as much as 77%. So if you have a youth league, a high school or a college, and you want to be safer, get in touch with safersports.com.
The Cobalt Plus headset system delivers proven performance along with more users, more flexibility. That's why coaches across Pennsylvania trust Cobalt Plus. CoachCom makes tough headset systems for tough teams. We build headsets to help teams win. Call or click to learn more about Cobalt Plus from the proven leader in football communications.
And is in the end zone for the touchdown. Touchdown!
Juggled and caught! Circle W Sports is the complete all-in-one platform for high school sports, designed by former athletes, coaches, and athletic directors. Circle W Sports gives school and team personnel an easier solution to run their entire athletic departments with the help of these features. League Manager makes creating master schedules a breeze. Configure your divisions, build schedules, track league all-stars, and much, much more. Referee Manager helps assign and track game officials in the same platform. And with RefPay, your officials can get paid within hours instead of days or weeks. Enjoy live scoring and statistical services through our Performance Tracker and Stat Tracker apps. Learn how to track your workout or camp and combine statistics in real time. Then create any type of report after your results are tallied. The Stat Tracker app helps keep your fans involved, whether they are in the stands or at home, with live in-game stats. For more information, visit CircleWSports.com, the official online platforms of PA Football News and the PSFCA Big 33.
Hey, welcome back to the State of PA Football Playoff Edition. Going into week number 3 of the playoffs here in Pennsylvania. I'm excited. I'm Billy Swain. This is my staff. Right now, we're going to break down the 4A bracket. This is a bracket, Matt, that we talked about, and we said this is the strangest, most wide open bracket that we have.
Yeah, I mean, Willie and Anthony will probably talk a little bit more about it, the upset down in D12, but for the most part, there's 6 or 8 teams that can probably win the state title. So this is the week where a few of those teams start facing off, and some good teams are going to go home, but still probably, like I said, 5, 6, 7 teams that could win the state title in 4A.
Yeah, let's start with the big one. Last week, McKeesport and came on spell, took down Thomas Jefferson, the I guess you could call them the perennial kings of almost 4A, because them and the other side of the bracket, Aliquippa, took down Newcastle 14-0. The big surprise there was, and I think this took a lot of people by surprise, is the return of Marquise Council for Aliquippa. Nobody expected that, and there he was playing football this weekend. So welcome back to the playoffs, and welcome back to high school football, Marquise Council. I'm glad your injury healed enough so that you could get there, and lo and behold, here we are. It's Aliquippa and McKeesport playing for a chance to play for a title.
Yeah, I can't believe this is where we landed in the district final in 4A in the Whitfield. I guess I shouldn't be surprised because they've played each other consistently, but I don't think anybody thought Aliquippa was going to be there except maybe Aliquippa and their fans. So, kudos to them. They always think they're going to be there, and lo and behold, they're there again. This time out, unfortunately, not playing at Acrisure for the district final. They'll be at Pine Richland for the district finals, but still, it's going to be a super matchup. Come on, Spell is the guy you got to stop for McKeesport, and we'll see how it goes. See if McKeesport can get past Aliquippa finally. I think a lot of people don't know, but McKeesport is a running football team generally, even though they have a decent quarterback, and Javion Robinson is a nice wide receiver, a 3-star for them. They run the ball a ton. So we'll see if they can get past the Quips. I don't think this is a lock, even though I think McKeesport's the best team in the state. I don't think this game is a lock.
No, because this is one of those things where, like, the Aliquippa mystique takes over a team. Like, that can just – this is our game. That alone can win a football game before you step onto the football field, and that's where that thing with Aliquippa happens. And of course, their head coach, he's back, and he knows how to win a championship. So it's going to be a very interesting one. Punxsutawney and Oil City, boy, I'll tell you what, Punxsutawney, they just keep winning football games. 28-8 over Clearfield, which is no easy feat. I mean, Clearfield is consistently a good football team in and out. Oil City, they're a scrap. Hey, welcome back to the State of PA.
Maybe that's what, sometimes we say it's a good loss. But we'll see who comes out of this one. Oil City, coming out of the Ethan Knox era. They had relied very heavily on him in the past few years. And now, obviously, they reinvented themselves. So it'll be great to see who wins this game.
Yeah, it's gonna be real interesting. Punxsutawney, Phil went to see them. Our guy Pro Time went to see him play 2 weeks ago, and they did a great job. Maddox Hedrick and Bo Thomas did most of the damage for the offense, and good quarterback, running back combination, and their defense is playing really good football. So I think this is one of my favorite stories of the year is seeing Punxsutawney in the playoffs. We're going to skip the rest of that bracket. We're going to go over to the other side. We're going to talk about Cardinal O'Hara and West Philadelphia. We're going to Willie and Anthony take over the show here. Take it away, Anthony.
All right, for me, I'm focused on West Philly. Up until maybe last Wednesday, their season was over. The public league instituted this new rule that if you didn't qualify for the playoffs, you weren't eligible for district title games. They decided we don't have a 4A representative, and revised rules. The highest ranked team would qualify to have a team in each classification for the district title. So they're all happy and excited. Their offense can put points on the board, a little inconsistent. O'Hara, Willie will go into them, is a different beast, though.
They certainly are. If they, like you said, that O'Hara entered is 7-4 right now. Let's just look at who some of their losses are: St. Joe's Prep, LaSalle, Roman Catholic, and then Bonner. Then their regular season Bonner game. Three of those losses, all four of the losses are to pretty good teams, and for them to come back and get the revenge game on Bonner is always, as an O'Hara alum, is always great to see. Sorry, Bonner Phillips, but it's great to see. Ahmad Goins has over 1,700 yards rushing. John Weldy is this school's all-time leading passer, and if you look at some of the quarterbacks that have gone through Ohio, you have Tom Savage, who played in the NFL, Mike Lomas, Deshaun Darden. Let's name a couple at the top from around my area, my time. None of them have thrown for more yards than John Weldy has this year or in their career. And he's a 4-year starter, so he's got the experience. Fode Wilkes is an incredible athlete out wide for the Lions, and it's really great to see that head coach Mike Ewing's vision that he had for the program come to fruition this year. I mean, he's been building it for a couple of years, and it's just great to see that he's coming to fruition with it.
Yeah, West Philly's going to counter with Amir Green, and Amir Green's a very athletic quarterback. He can get around. A little bit less disciplined are the Speed Boys, unless they've gotten better since I've seen them against Hatboro, and they've got Xavier Howard out there who had the winning catch that day, and then I really like the Jazeer kid. Jazeer Newsome, he's a very nice looking athlete, and he can get loose, and defensively he plays good football too, Anthony.
Yeah, no, definitely. All those three players you named they're game changers. I saw West Philly play George Washington in the regular season finale, and that game was for the winner went to the playoffs. The loser had to bank on MOTEP beating Lincoln, which didn't happen. But Amir Green, he has a strong arm, and he's an athlete. I think he'll present problems for O'Hara in the passing game. And then Jazeer Newsome, he's a freakish athlete on both sides of the ball because he plays both ways. They'll split him out wide. They'll run RPO with him. He'll run counters and reverses. So West Philly, they're not going to lay down. They're going to put their best 11 out there, and they're going to play hard all 4 quarters. It just comes down to depth, unfortunately. But we'll see. That's why we play the games, because you're never any given Saturday.
That's right. Yeah.
Any given Saturday.
The other side of that bracket, we're going to let Willie and Jared talk about. Shanahan with Anthony Aquila coming to take on that North Pocono defense. So I would say this is the Aquila versus the North Pocono defense. Who's got the advantage, Willie?
I'm going to say, I have not seen the North Pocono. I'm going to be the homer and say I like Mr. Shanahan because for the main reason of their defense. Their defense is just playing out of their mind right now. I know he's not the defensive coordinator, but former offensive coach Kyle Detweiler came over and and has joined the Mr. Shanahan's coaching staff and has done a great job helping their defense, even though he's not in the coordinator role. Uh, they just got a lot of gamers. I mean, there's a reason that entering play last week, the Shanahan Eagle defense had 24 takeaways, and now they have 29 takeaways on the season. So their defense is definitely going to be there. I mean, like you said, Anthony Aquino is a phenomenal athlete for Paul. Shanahan head coach Paul Myers in several interviews this year with me has called him the best athlete, the best player in the chessmont, and I think he has a pretty good argument for that. I definitely do think he's only listed on their roster as 5'11", 175, but the kid's motor just constantly goes nonstop, and he does everything for them. He's the starting quarterback, and then when they're on defense, he's calling the shots from the safety position. Aiden Civitel is another phenomenal two-way star. And then Nate Black is just a bruising back who's also a linebacker for them. So Shanahan's definitely got the talent to pull the win, but it's playoffs, so anything can happen, you know?
Yeah, anything can happen, and one thing that's happened to everybody up here in District 2 that's played North Pocono is they've lost. And the reason that they've lost is several. One, North Pocono is well coached. Greg Dolan's been there for quite a while. And the way that this team is built, honestly, I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised that they're this good this year, because I think they're going to be even better next year, because most of their big star players, except for the one lineman, are all sophomores and juniors. So these guys should be good into the foreseeable future. The one guy who is the X factor for them has to be defensive back, wide receiver Cole West. If Will McPartland for Prep is not the best two-way player in District 2, Cole West absolutely is. There's not much that the kid can't do. You can't kick to him because he's a danger to run it back every single time. A defensive back that I haven't seen in a long time. The kid just has very good instincts. I mean, I've seen him make interceptions on three different balls that I was like, how did he even get to that ball and make that play and get underneath and get it? He's very, very good. He likes to want to line up in the Wildcat. And then on top of that, they have about 4 kids that can run the ball aside from Cole West. And they use him. He's another guy that they line up in the backfield. And as soon as he lines up in a Wildcat, you know he's running the ball, and they still can't stop him. He's just a really tough, good kid, really tough. Their defense, though, has been the difference. You look at some of their games. They've beaten good teams. The last team that beat Scranton Prep was North Pocono. We know how good Scranton Prep is playing right now. They are really, really tough. I don't think anybody wants to play them right now. And North Pocono beat them. So I'll tell you what, it could come down to anything, but I'll take that North Pocono defense anytime and let the chips fall and see what happens.
I think this game is a highlight of the weekend.
It could be.
I think this is a highlight game of the weekend. Shanahan,
I'm looking forward to.
Willie's got
and
that
I'll be
game.
there for it. I'm looking forward to that one. The way Jared talks about North Pocono, I'm looking forward to it. It should be a great one.
Northern versus Southern Pennsylvania football. Southern Lehigh, Bethlehem Catholic. Bethlehem Catholic coming off the victory in the Holy War. Southern Lehigh has the only Thursday night game, and this week. So that is the only Thursday night game. Southern Lehigh, Bethlehem Catholic. I'll tell you what, Southern Lehigh is just rolling along, looking for that spot at the state title game, Matt.
Yeah, I saw him play last week against Blue Mountain, and Southern Lehigh. I had seen him play 2 weeks ago against Northwestern Lehigh as well. So kind of two different outcomes: a loss against Northwestern Lehigh, and then a big win against Blue Mountain. But look, Colton Sams at quarterback and Steckert at running back, and a host of very talented receivers. They're going to be they're definitely in the picture for a state title. but their offense is nasty. I think for Southern Lehigh, the question is on the defensive side of the ball, and can they put some stops together, and just instead of trying to outscore teams to win. So the further they get in the playoffs, and their game against Becca is not an easy game this week. You know, Becca, this is kind of the year they've built towards probably. The Vassett brothers are there, and very strong wide receiver and quarterback combo. But you know, like you said, Southern Lehigh is rolling. And we'll see the only Thursday night game in the state of Pennsylvania at Catasauqua this week. So if you got nothing going on Thursday, Catasauqua is your place to be.
Yeah, go watch a football game. I'm having a hard time telling myself not to drive 3.5 hours to go see that game. But I probably won't. I'm going to be honest with you. Let's go up to the top half of that, or down to the bottom half of that bracket. Bellefonte, the Red Raiders with a win over Jasper Sheps and Juniata last week. So Juniata cannot jump out of the shadows and scare Shamokin out of the playoffs this year. That's going to have to be the task of the Bellefonte football team. Ashton Howe leads Bellefonte, and he's a pretty good football player. I'm going to be honest. I love Tony Confer. He comes on our show every year to start the season. They are going to play. They're going to have to play out of their minds to take down Mr. Clinton, Mr. Steele, and the Shamokin Indians. Shamokin, what a game last week against Jersey Shore. 5 interceptions by one guy, 2 short of the record in the state of Pennsylvania. Just an amazing effort against a Jersey Shore team that usually plays this team tough, Matt.
Yeah, I was at that game last week, and that series with Jersey Shore going back to last year, you know, a 2-point game in regular season last year, an OT game in the playoffs. This season, a double overtime game in the regular season. So I thought the place to be was going to be Shamokin last week. And even though Shamokin knocked Jersey Shore's quarterback out very early in that game, there was no question Shamokin was winning that game. It just in some intensity, and the crowd was awesome too. Right from the get-go, Shamokin got a safety, went up 2-0. It was 9-0 really quick. Clinton was a monster running the ball. Logan Steele was his usual self, and he didn't really get off that much. Jersey Shore contained him pretty well until the second half, but I think it ended up like 37-0. And like you said, Bellefonte's going to need to play the game of the century to beat Shamokin, but I'll tell you what, I guarantee Bellefonte is on the phone to Juniata to find out what that recipe was last year when they beat Shamokin. So, again,
I know Coach Confer is very good friends with the Juniata coach, so you might be right about that one, Matt. Yeah. And hats off to Tommy Graffish. Every year, Tommy, they got smoked last week, but every year Tommy Graffish does a great job with Jersey Shore and the Bulldogs. He has them going. But, in a town like Jersey Shore, eventually, you got to let the well rewater itself once in a while. And I think that's what's going on. Even though, they're still pulling good water out of the well, it's difficult to maintain such a high level of competition every single year in such a small town. But that is what a bracket that is. I mean, the 4A bracket, very interesting bracket. Only because, and we've talked about this, and we're going to head over to another side of the bracket. We're going to finish this bracket off with Twin Valley and West York. West York is having a great year this year, playing good football. Their quarterback does a nice job. They throw the ball around a lot. But unfortunately, this week, they're going to run into a buzzsaw in the Twin Valley Raiders. And their running back just surpassed the team record for touchdowns this week. So it's, business as usual for Twin Valley, only better.
Yeah, that's a nice D3 bracket, that District 3 bracket, with Susquehanna Township playing Wyomissing this week, which like you said, North Pocono, Bishop Shanahan might be the game of the week. I wouldn't miss that Susquehanna Township Wyomissing game if you have an opportunity to go there. Two very different teams. Susquehanna Township, super athletic, likes to sling the ball around a little bit, and then Wyomissing is, ground and pound and some serious linebacker play. So, great game there. And like you said, Twin Valley. It's interesting. I think we have Twin Valley ranked number 1 in 4A, and they're the number 3 seed in District 3. So, go figure, right? Kind of like Troy in 2A in District 4. They're number 3 seed and number 1 in the state. So that just tells you the depth that's in those districts.
Yeah, this game's going to be kind of like almost if you like the first Rocky movie. It's going to be like the slugger that just comes out and just punches you and punches you and punches you, and you're going to be facing the guy that dances around and swings around and everything like that in Susquehanna Township, and that's exactly what this game is. I mean, you cannot deny that this game is Rocky versus Apollo Creed. It's fancy and fast versus do not stand in front of me. I like this game. I like this game a lot. I like this bracket a lot. We've talked about this bracket all year long. I mean, it's wide open. There's really nobody I can say is a favorite right now. And, I would, but anybody else think, do you guys agree with me on this one?
Absolutely. How many shifts, right, Matt? How many shifts did we see in this all year? Teams just floating around and just head to head, like such a great bracket. Love it.
I'm still big on McKeesport. I think McKeesport's the best team in the state. And if they lost to Aliquippa, I don't think I'd be shocked, because the Quipsa got it done, how many district titles?
Crazy.
That's what's crazy. That's what's crazy about this bracket.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. But that's the 4A bracket. Hey, we're going to come back after these words from our sponsors, and we're going to talk 2A. We're going to talk some Kings returning to the throne, possibly. And we're going to talk 5A, which is another crazy bracket. So this is the State of PA Football. It is the playoff edition, brought to you by Coach Calm, NFHS Network, Safer Sports, and, of course, Circle W Sports. We'll be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Thank you for calling Promises Internet Service. Please remain on the line. Due to high call volume around the world, it's likely you'll be on hold for well over an hour.
Get faster speeds for less money than the national companies at CenterWisp in Central Pennsylvania. CenterWisp is your fast local internet provider. For more information, go to centerwisp.com. That's CenterWisp.com. Now with faster speeds.
C3 Sports and Events Center is located in the heart of Happy Valley. C3 Sports has the space you need for your next sporting, community, or professional event. We recognize that our community would benefit from a large, adaptable event venue that could host just about anything. So, if you have an event, we have the space for you. We are C3 Sports and Events Center in State College, Pennsylvania.
For over a decade, Circle W Sports has delivered top-tier athletic websites and helped numerous student athletes get noticed. Now, we're taking things to the next level with Showcase. We've reimagined everything, combining the power of our proven platform into one sleek, all-in-one profile that's customizable, dynamic, and built just for you. No more juggling multiple profiles. No more messy links. Every Showcase tier includes a personalized QR code and short link, making it easier than ever to share your story, anytime, anywhere. Think of it as your own digital scrapbook. Post highlights, add workout clips, upload photos, share your stats, achievements, and more, all in one place. Whether you're chasing scholarships, creating your personal brand with our name, image, and likeness offerings, or you just want to show off your grind, Showcase puts your journey front and center with packages starting at $9.99 per month. It's your game, your story, your future. Get noticed, get recruited, and most importantly, get ahead with Showcase.
PAFootballNews.com and CWTAP. Tap into the state. PAFootballNews.com and CWTAP presents their weekly highlight show, bringing you, the viewers and fans, the best of the weekend's high school and college football action and interviews from all over the state of Pennsylvania. And introducing The View from the Sidelines, where you, the fans, can send in clips of your favorite team or athletes. Simply email your links or clips to Billy@PAFootballNews.com with the subject line, The View, by Sunday morning, and we'll try and present them on the program. PAFootballNews.com and CWTAP Tap into the State. Our weekly highlight show every Tuesday at 9 on CWTAP and the next morning streaming on PFN. We got you covered.
And welcome back to the State of PA Football, our playoff breakdown edition. We're going into week 3 of the playoffs, and we're breaking it down. We did 1 and 4 last segment. We're going to do 2 and 3 this one. We're going to start it off, 2 and 5 in this one. We're going to start it off with the 2A bracket, and I'm just going to get right into it, dudes. I mean, like Williams Valley and Schuylkill Haven this week. Williams Valley was all over Minersville this week. They just they shut Dante Carr down. Brady Schomper was a machine. He was throwing the ball left and right, and they were just having their way offensively with Minersville. They recovered an onside kick. They scored right away. Trevor was scoring. Everybody was scoring. Alkenbach was scoring. I think they had 7 kids score touchdowns in that game. So Williams Valley just on their way. Now they're going to have to work on defense because, Matt, why?
Yeah, you got the triple threat attack. Colton Reber having a fantastic season. A big kid, over 200 pounds and super fast too. So tough to stop. That line at Schuylkill Haven, definitely a state championship caliber line. Nico Castillo's, he's a big kid, and I would say on their entire roster, probably the best D1 prospect. For a 2A team, pretty impressive. But a big kid, like 6'2", 225, I think, running back, defensive end. And then, Nico Carastilla back from injury and in uniform for Mike Farr.
Dude, that's like unheard of. I can't believe 6 weeks, broken leg, snapped in half, and he's back on the field, dude.
Yeah, the kid's a machine. So, I mean, that didn't happen by accident that the kid can get back in the uniform. He has worked so hard his entire career. Just in conversations with Mike Farr, we're talking like summer workouts, all day in the hot sun, and then they had to drag him out of the gym at night because he's hitting 2, 3, 4 hour workouts after 2 days in the summer. So not surprised that kid's back in uniform, and that's a big jolt for his team too. So that's going to be a tremendous game. That's, it's very similar to like McKeesport and Aliquippa, where Haven has to get past Williams Valley. They've lost to them 2 years in a row in the district final. And to be honest, they haven't even been great games. So Williams Valley,
now, Schuylkill Haven does own the regular season win for Williams Valley, but it's that playoff win, right, Matt?
Hey, we saw LaSalle do it against St. Joe's Prep. They got over the hump. Last year, Troy got past Southern Columbia. They got over the hump. And maybe this is the year for Schuylkill Haven to get past Williams Valley. But if you saw like a 55-54 game, this would be the game to go to. It could happen.
Yeah. If you like doing a box score, you probably don't want to go to if you don't like box scores, you don't want to go to this game. Lansdale Catholic, Lakeland. What's the secret sauce for Lansdale Catholic down this way? They slide into the playoffs with a win over Bristol. They're 10-2 and just rolling along nice and quietly down there in District 12.
Yeah, so they're the lone 2A team in the Catholic League. But they have some athletes. Their quarterback is going to Akron, and he's a dual threat. I'm pretty sure he has over 1,000 yards passing, and I'm positive over 1,000 yards rushing. He can throw the ball. They have, I think, 3 D1 signees, FBS signees for the early signing season. in December. They're fast, they're physical. They've played a tough schedule. They played all but for 5A. They played Wood, and they won a Catholic League Blue division, which isn't as strong as the Red division, but played quality teams. Their only lost in the Catholic League, I believe, was to Father Judge, which is a 5A program.
And Ryan, if
And
they lost
Ryan,
to Ryan
by a
3-0.
field goal. Yeah, 3-0.
I mean, they have more than just 3 athletes. They've got Chris Ulmer at linebacker, Darren Jackson at linebacker. He's committed to Navy this year. James Webb, he's going to Akron, the wide receiver. And there's one guy that we have to talk about, that you have to talk about, Yabo Kabold. I mean, you want to talk about pure athlete.
Yeah, he's on go 100% when they have the ball. Like I say, he's a dual threat because you don't know if he's going to run or if he's going to sling it 50 yards downfield. He's pretty smart with the ball, not turning it over, and he's electrifying. I saw him as a junior play, and then I saw him again this year, and the maturation of his game was great. I believe he gives them a chance. He plays well. Lansdale has a chance to beat anybody, and I think there'll probably be a dark horse because most people don't know about Lansdale. You don't hear about them in the Catholic League because of the St. Joe's Prep, O'Hara, Roman LaSalle.
You might call him a dark horse. I would call him a dark horse because the people up in Lakeland don't have any clue what they're about to go see. I mean, Terrence Smith, 6'6", 260-pound lineman. He's got offers to Notre Dame, South Carolina, Penn State, Ohio State, North Carolina, Alabama. He's got all the offers you want to see, from a football player. And then you've got, the 2 linebackers, Ulmer and Jackson, coming at you. You've got James Webb, who is just, he's a stellar athlete himself. But then you add Kabold in there, and what does Lakeland have to match this, Jared?
The thing that Lakeland has to match this is they play they play a really tough style of defense. Their line seems to contain, and their linebackers really make the plays. I watched it the entire game Friday night. They just pursue and tackle. The quarterback is probably their best player, David Nanowitz. He's a 3-year starter at quarterback. He's done pretty well this year. Tall kid. The only thing I will say is with him, he might be a little bit banged up, although he got taped up and went right back into the game 2 plays later on Friday. But that's something I would watch for. I know Hollywood's covering this game, and I was going to give him a heads up because he knows Nanowitz. But the kid threw for almost 1,700 yards. He rushed for almost 1,000. And they've got 4 guys that can run the ball. They've got a lot of speed, and they're elusive. And I think that's the thing they're going to have to do. Their defense is going to have to contain, and their offense, they're just going to need to not turn the ball over and use their speed to kind of spread the field a little bit, because Nanowitz throws pretty well, and he threw in that high wind. Didn't have any problem. He was not phased at all on Friday night. So it could be interesting.
Did it draw a gasp from the crowd?
Yeah. I know. I know you did. The only thing I'll say is I thought Dunmore's defense was pretty good coming into the game. Lakeland's is better, and that might be the difference. It could be close. Last year, Lansdale came up, they played Riverside, and they got shell-shocked. I think they came up with all the athletes. I think it was last year that there was Lansdale that came up, and they were shell-shocked because Riverside was just like, yeah, no, we're winning this game, and they just torched them. I don't know what happened. I still can't believe that game. So
I talked to their coach. I talked to Lakeland's head coach the other day. I just called him up to let him know, what he can expect when he gets to Germantown. And he said, dude, you don't have to tell me. He said, we went down and scouted them. He said, the PIAA should be embarrassed. So I'm going to touch base on it. The Philadelphia fields are embarrassing. Most Philadelphia fields, and the reason is, Anthony, and you know this, they're right in the middle of neighborhoods. So there's no parking to start. Okay. I don't think I've been to a Philadelphia Pub League game that had food offered. So that's strike number 2. They don't have anything. And strike number 3 is just the field and the conditions on itself. It's passable, Germantown, the field itself. The clock is okay. It works a little bit here and there. But I really wish they would do something about these Philadelphia schools because it's so embarrassing. I mean, we've got a team that we're going to talk about who is not even playing their own game on their own field. They have to travel to another team, to another place, but we'll talk about that in the next segment. It's almost embarrassing, but I mean, like, you can't take it away from, I mean, it's District 12's responsibility to provide a field. It is not the PIAA's responsibility to go out and find a field. The guys in, like, a lot of people, like, if this is Pennsylvania and this is Mechanicsburg right here, it's not their issue to go out and find fields all over the place. They have 12 district committees all over the state. Those district committees, so down here, Philadelphia, their district committee, it's their responsibility to find a field for this game to happen because the game's supposed to be there. So when people bitch and moan about it, I go out of my mind because you have no clue. I'm just telling you, you don't have any idea. You just sit there behind your little computer and you go, oh, well, they should play here and they should play there and they should play here. Well, guess what? Those fields didn't bid on them. They closed their field up. They're done. They're out. They can't get any volunteers. You got to get a volunteer to do this. And, I can't believe the WPIAL is actually able to get enough volunteers at each of these stadiums to, like, you got one stadium that's open and their team is playing over here. And that's just the stupidest thing. It makes no sense. But then people bitch about it and it's like, there was nowhere for Lansdale Catholic to host the game. And let's face it, Anthony, politics probably played a little part and like the North Penns and all them guys, they're not going to say, oh yeah, Lansdale Catholic, come use our field.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And that's the biggest thing you hit with, Billy, is like District 12, as big as it is, the facilities are terrible. I actually worked for a firm 20 years ago that put those surfaces in 20 years ago at the Northeast, Germantown, Simon Gratz super site, which is now closed. They can't even use that field. Has been used in 2 years. And the South Philly, the only stadiums that have newer surface is John Bartram, which is in the middle of a neighborhood, no parking, and a neighborhood you're not going to get any teams to come play at night in that area, just safety reasons. And yeah, it's a shame. And it's a lot of politics because the city has the means to be able to provide funding to rehabilitate these venues, and they just don't.
It's Philadelphia, man. The Eagles alone could rebuild 5 of the stadiums. Exactly, they could, and they could buy out like the neighbors and put a parking lot if they wanted to. But the Eagles don't do it. I mean, they should. They should step in. I remember a couple of years ago when there was a big shooting over at Roxborough High School, and a day later, the Eagles head coach came out and he was wearing a Roxborough sweatshirt. And I actually sent them a note, and I don't know if we'll be able to get them at any more of our District 12 coaches things, but I was pretty pissed off. And I told him, I said, Coach, you sit there wearing a Roxborough shirt, and you want to honor them. Why don't you have the Eagles write a check and rebuild that stadium and at least give them bleachers or something, anything, or a locker room or anything.
Exactly.
The politics down there is just crazy. But what I meant by the politics is, Anthony, is this is Lansdale Catholic. Okay, there isn't a pub team in the area that's going to loan them their field.
Yeah,
not in District
like
1.
No District 1
not
team.
District 1. They're not going to. So they're actually both teams. So Lansdale Catholic is traveling 30 minutes south to play this game against a team that's coming from an hour and a half north.
Exactly, Billy. And you mentioned that no District 1 team, or no District stadium, District 1 stadium would host them, which is a surprise, especially being that North Penn, who has, in my opinion, one of the best facilities in all of District 1. They are maybe 3 or 5 minutes away from Lansdale Catholic. and they used their field during the regular season. You would think you would think they might have been able to get that for the postseason, but I guess not. So now they had to go down to Germantown.
So,
And
but see, what people
Anthony,
don't understand is here's what people don't understand. There might be a field hockey game going on, or there might
Yep.
be, lacrosse, there might be some other sport going on their field. And it's like, well, we can't give you our field because it's being used. We spend a lot of time on this subject. Let's spend a lot of time on some football. Let's go back to football. Let's get back up to the brackets. So anyway, that was Lansdale Catholic and Lakeland, Scoopville Haven, and Williams Valley. Those are going to be two really good games. You want to talk about two interesting games? Steel High and Chestnut Ridge. Chestnut Ridge, they escaped, the District 5. So Chestnut Ridge is the other team from District 5 that's hoping to break a streak. I don't know if Coach Max has the guns to escape Steel and Highspire. I know last year we were all shocked, right, Matt, when Berlin took down Steel High. We were like, whoa, where did that come? A District 5 team. And then, the following week, Berlin folded like a deck of cards. I don't think Chestnut Ridge is going to get past Steel and Highspire this year. We're talking about old guard this year in our rankings meetings, and Steel High is looking like they're back.
Yeah, Coach Irby, it counts for something when your program's been there and done that. Obviously in 2A, kind of new to them over the past few years, and they lost a lot of talent when both Irby's and many other players graduated. But it does count for something when, you got a coach and a program that's been there and done that. So like you said, Steel High, probably the favorite in this one, but, a nice story for Chestnut Ridge.
Yeah, it is a nice story for Chestnut Ridge. Steel High loaded for bear. They've got athletes all over the field. They came out a little shaky the first couple of weeks. I know you saw them against a 4A undefeated Susquehanna Township team, and they were still a little shaky at that point. But it just kind of seems like they're spanking along here and doing their thing. Line Mountain, we actually saw Line Mountain played them this year, and Line Mountain did beat them. But Township, it was a really good game against Steel High, and Steel High hang on there for a while, but they just couldn't get it done. Other side of that bracket, guys, it's a big one. It is the defending state champions, the Troy Trojans, taking on the perennial state champion, Southern Columbia. Break it down, Matt.
Yeah, I think this is a great story. There's so many different things going on with this matchup. Obviously, they've run into this is the fourth year in a row they've played each other in the playoffs. So if you're a Troy senior, you're looking to even the score, right? They've 1 and 2 if you're a Troy senior, and you ran that one to a state title last year. And if you're Southern, you're protecting home field. And the only town around Southern that's out of the area is Shamokin is playing out of town, but Berwick is done, Danville is done, and Mount Carmel is done. And you can bet those kids and those people from those towns are going to be at the game at Southern. I know Troy's
half of them are going to want to see, half of them are going to want to see Southern lose. The other half are going to be rooting for Troy, just because that, the neighborhood, and that's the way it is. But you were talking about that. Troy, on the other hand, they come in the defending champions, Mason Smith, Gilliland. They're both running wild this year, just like you did last year. This Troy team doesn't look like they've missed a beat since last year. Their only loss coming at the hands of a champion from the previous year up in New York, and a larger team to boot. But this Troy team just seems like they're on a mission to repeat.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting matchup because Troy's going to try to slow things down. They're going to try to shut down the run and force Southern to throw the ball. And I'm not sure how that plays out because I think the weakness in Troy's team is their defensive backfield. So if they stack the line and try to shut down the Southern running game, Aiden Hackenbrock for for Southern has some really nice targets that he's hit all season long. But Troy's going to force him to hit those guys, And then on the other side of the ball, Southern's defense is very, very good. And Troy's running game is fantastic. So,
the big thing is like what you were saying about that is they want to try to control the game. But I mean, like a team like Troy it's tough to control the tempo because they're such a big play team, though. I mean, Mason Smith last week ran for a 39-yard touchdown, I think, and a 45-yard. Like they're a quick strike team, so they're going to have to change their offensive philosophy if they're going to control the Tigers' offense with that kind of a philosophy. So I mean, these are chess matches I love in football.
Yeah, the atmosphere alone, just playing football in that cornfield at Southern is going to be incredible. I know Troy's got buses of fans coming down. It possibly is, whoever wins that game could win a state title, and everybody knows exactly what's on the line. So let's get it on Friday night.
Yeah, it's going to be something else. Friday night, we're going to stick with Friday night in a game that I'm probably going to go to. I haven't decided yet, but I think I am going to go to this game. It's Karn City. Farrell is at Karn City. Farrell is rolling right now. They're doing everything right. Karn City, you cannot take anything away from Karn City, and especially the way they're playing football right now. 9-2, Karn City. They beat Wilmington last week, 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry. They took down Wilmington. Their big player is definitely Zettner and Vascal, the quarterback. They do a great job. He gets loose. Cole Johnson had a 10-yard run for Karn City last week. And, the Scherer kid is a really good football player. So it's going to be interesting to see this game. Karn City is a punch you in the mouth. I'm going to knock you upside the head kind of a football team. That's just what they are. They're big, they're strong, and they're physical. And I think this matchup, although I know Shane said it was going to be a blowout, I think this is a pretty good matchup for Karn City. I think they match up well with Farrell.
I think it comes down to how well Karn City can control Jules Johnson, running back for Farrell, and Aaron Pegues, the quarterback, is a dual threat. So, and he's got some nice targets in the passing game too. So, Farrell probably comes into this game, I wouldn't say a heavy favorite, but definitely the favorite. And, the kind of game that they might jump out to like a 14, 21 point lead. And if Karn City can hang around, maybe they got a shot in the end.
Yeah, I don't disagree on that at all. I think they do have a shot. I'm excited to go see that game. Then on the other side, dude, Richland and Bishop McCourt. McCourt just is coming at everyone. They've been making statement after statement all year long. I just had one of our interns who goes to McCourt. He texted me after we talked last night in our meeting, and he's like, "Hey, Billy, I got a question." I said, "What's up?" And he says, what happens if Bishop McCourt makes a deep run in the playoffs and ends up at Cumberland Valley? You said we only have 6. What happens to me? Am I not going to be able to get in? I'm like, okay, kid, let's slow down. Let's get past Richland first. Okay. Richland is not a slouch.
Yeah, it's a rematch of a regular season game. I think it was 31-14 or 31-12 that McCourt won that game in the regular season. I'm actually going to catch this game on my way back from Pittsburgh on Saturday night in Altoona, just to get some eyes on McCourt. I try to get eyes on every team that might be in a state final. So I'll see 4 new teams this week, and McCourt being one of those.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. This game, and you're right, it was a good game last time, 31-12. McCourt came right at him with a 1-2 punch. Grayson Mahala tried to bring Richland back, but McCourt they just drive down the field. Delia, Bainey, and company they pound at you. And McCourt's been building this team for a couple of years. They weren't very good last year, but they were good. Does that make sense?
Yeah, good, not
I think
great last year, potentially great this year.
Yeah, that's what it was. I mean, they were okay. I got to see them against, ironically, Belfont, and I was like, this team is a good football team, and they mud stomped Belfont that day, and then they went out and lost to a team I thought they should have beat the week after. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting game for sure. So and then the winner, like, can you imagine? I mean, like right now, I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, like we have McCourt, Farrell, Carn City, all of them could play each other. And then you look down at the bottom half of the bracket, and this is the precursor to Acrisure, Western Beaver, and Steel Valley, Seton LaSalle, and here they are. We keep talking about them every week. The Prexies of Washington. They're actually dropping back down to 1A next year.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show, right? Once the new classifications come out. So we'll hang on for a little bit on that one. But District 7 champ is always gonna have be battle tested. That's a tough bracket to go through in 2A. But Washington hanging around, Seton LaSalle, for my money's the best team in the District 7 2A. But I think any one of those teams can make it out of that bracket.
We talked about Western Beaver before, and we were just like, Western Beaver lost one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Pennsylvania, and here they are. I mean, they're challenging, and they're trying to get a trip to Acrisure, and it's just an amazing story for Western Beaver. I can't believe that they're there. Blaine Crislip, he's a big lineman for them and does a great job. And it's amazing to see Western Beaver where they're at. Seton LaSalle, I'm going to agree. They're probably one of the best teams, if not the best team that is in 2A, not just, around. They're one of the top 5 2A teams, and I believe we have ranked as so. But they're pounding away, and they're hammering teams too. So that's going to be an interesting bracket there. I like the LaSalle Washington game. I think that's going to be a tough game. But Steel Valley and Western Beaver, that's also a toss-up game to me. I think all 4 of these teams can win this division.
Yeah, Barksdale's going to run the show for Steel Valley. I caught their game. They played Westinghouse first game of the year. I was there for that, and he's the majority of the offense. If you can't stop him, you will not beat Steel Valley.
Yes, let's not forget Steel Valley or Seton LaSalle has beat Washington earlier this year, 27-14, in a conference matchup. But I think it's going to be the Barksdale kid's going to be a difference maker. I think for Steel Valley, they went from being hot and cold to hot. So yeah, that's our Class 2A breakdown, guys. We hit it all. Could be anybody. Could be Steel High. Could be Southern Columbia or Troy. Schuylkill Haven, Williams Valley, Lansdale Catholic has the horses. I mean, McCourt is crushing people. Farrell is good. Carn City is good. I mean, hell of a bracket. Let's do 5A. How about that? Where do you guys want to start? Should we start with Willie? Or should we start with, let's start with Anthony. Roman Catholics taking on Whitehall, Anthony.
That Roman Catholic, they should be well rested because they actually only had to play the starters for a quarter and a half this past weekend. Samaj Bill played, I think, the first quarter, and that was it. They beat Olney 48-0. Got the backups a lot of work in. We all know Roman's a high-scoring, fast-paced team offensively. They don't waste any time with the play clock. It's read and react offense. Samaj Bills is a 4-year starter. He's going to Akron. They have playmakers all over the field on offense. 2 of the receivers are going to Temple now. They just committed recently. The thing that surprised me about Roman this year is defensively, they're a lot better than they were in previous years. Against St. Joe's Prep, they gave up 40 points, but it's Prep. But against other quality teams, they really buckled down. They had a big out-of-state win early in the season. And I think this team, the losing the way they did in the state championship last year, I think gave them a big chip on their shoulder going forward. So I don't think you'll see that complacency. They're a lot more disciplined than they were last year too. Um, so I think they're more than up for the challenge against Whitehall. I know Whitehall has a fantastic offense, but we'll see.
Matt, where does Whitehall come from every year? Like last year, we were sitting around and we're like, "Oh crap, we got to get Whitehall in the rankings," because and then this year we're sitting around and we're like, "Oh crap, we got to get Whitehall in the rankings." Like they just like all of a sudden there they are.
Yeah, I mean that's a proud program. They don't necessarily come out of nowhere. They just kind of don't win the biggest games during the regular season because sometimes they play some higher classification teams. So
Nazareth and Parkland. That's their only two losses: Nazareth and Parkland.
Yeah, I saw them play against Parkland. They got smoked, but look where they are in the 5A playoffs. Parkland being a 6A team. They're super talented, and as a 5A team, I'm not sure they're going to get past Roman Catholic. You're talking about, a dynamite team in Roman. But hats off to Whitehall. They made it through.
I want to give a hat off also to, and you got to agree with me on this one, Jared. Pocono Mountain East, 8-4 this year, 35-24. It was a close game against Whitehall. I do not remember the last time Pocono Mountain East got this deep into the playoffs, and I've been doing this 25 years.
It was an interesting team to watch. Yeah, I agree. I thought they'd make at least a little bit of a game of it, and they did. That's cool.
They did. They made a great game of it. It came down to like the last few minutes. So congratulations to PME. Great job. Top side of that bracket, we've got Delaware Valley, who came back and took down Abington Heights. What an unbelievable! I was watching the scores on that game, Jared, and wow.
I couldn't believe it. The first thing I did when I got in the car is I said, "What's that Delaware Valley Abington score?" Because we kept hearing it, and we heard 24/7 Abington Heights, and I said, "Oh my goodness, like this is over in Abington." Like we thought maybe they would. Delaware Valley's defense came out in the second half of that game and shut Abington Heights right out completely. It was their defense, and they got back to what got them here in every other year. It's the defense, because they got great linebackers and pretty good secondary, and the running game with Mike Iuzzolino, who is a great running back and a great kid, and it's the quarterback, who probably should have started last year, but I won't say that. He was really good. He's got.
You already did.
I know. That's why I said I was trying to be funny. It's kind of the thing up here. Everyone said, "Why didn't he start last year?" But he's really good. Call McGarvey, really good player.
Like we're sitting here talking about it's an anomaly, but like their schedule, they started off against McKeesport.
Yep.
Their next game was a Jersey Shore team that kind of took everybody by surprise and beat them 49-42. Then they played Central York, that's team number 3 that's played this week. Then they played Scranton Prep to a 5-point loss. So there's their 4 losses in a row. And then who else did they play that beat them? North Pocono, and they lost to them by a touchdown. 3 of those games were by a touchdown or less. Then they played Pittston to a 1-point win, which just to me that would boggle my mind.
Mind-boggling.
I mean, this is not a crappy Delaware Valley team. It's a Delaware Valley team that played probably, and Matt, you look into all this stuff, but that had to be one of the toughest schedules in the state of Pennsylvania.
As I was going to say, they start off so tough in the early season schedule. They play out-of-state teams. They play Long Island Lutheran. They've played them the last couple of years. Tough schedule. And they build for it. And the teams that do that in District 2 have advanced. And you see it this year. Delaware Valley advanced. And Scranton Prep does the same thing. So,
yeah, I'd say in terms of a schedule, it's probably a tick lower than 5A in District 7 for the Whitfield. It's certainly not like a Catholic League schedule where you get like a Prep, Bonner, Roman, LaSalle type schedule, but not far away from a 5A District 7 schedule.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough schedule. It is. Hollidaysburg, on the other hand, Hollidaysburg just keeps mowing along. However, last week, I don't know what happened, but it was 25-24. Hollidaysburg squeaked out the win. They had to play defense at the end of the game against a 7-5 Du Bois team who every once in a while gives Hollidaysburg fits in the playoffs. I think Homer Delatry learned something this week. His son is a very good athlete. And again, we talk about him every week, but they've got a defensive back that can shut you down. And Josh does a great job of shutting players down. So it's going to be an interesting game. Del Val and Hollidaysburg. I have a feeling it's going to be very much similar to the Hollidaysburg Abington Heights game last year that we sent a reporter to, and he thanked me for sending to that game. On the other side, Bishop McDevitt, Exeter Township. Can Exeter Township hang with McDevitt? I think they can. I think they can hang with them for about a quarter. And then, I don't know, Jerry, you're going to see some of this stuff. McDevitt probably has 4 of the best linebackers in the state of Pennsylvania as a core. They probably have the best linebacking core in the state of Pennsylvania. If you're going to try and throw on them, good luck. And if you're going to try and run on them, good luck. They're hitting on all cylinders right now. McDevitt is, and we kind of thought that's what was going to happen with their season. Open up with 2 tough teams and then just start mowing people over. Exeter Township, on the other hand, is a scrappy, tough, and they're going to come out and punch McDevitt in the face a couple of times. I think it's going to be close for a little while, but I just don't think McDevitt has the guns.
Yeah, McDevitt's been building week to week. Early in the season, a little shaky, but they're also coming off a big graduation class and some big boppers, that they lost from last season. So, McDevitt's, even though they're the 3 seed, I believe, in that bracket, they're probably the favorite in District 3. And, it's a good test against Exeter this week.
It is. And what's different about McDevitt is for the last 4 years, of course, Stone Saunders threw for 342 miles or something like that, and this year they're more of a run team with Maurice Barnes running the ball. They just chip away at you and pound away at you on offense this year. It's not your typical big strike Bishop McDevitt offense that does it. They're pounding the rock right at your face, and they've got some big linemen. New Oxford and Solanco. Solanco just surprises the living daylights out of me. Every 4 years, they seem to have a big team down there. And this year, Solanco is the team. And, Warwick's pretty beat up. They got a 56-24 win over Warwick, I think they're on their 23rd quarterback this year or something like that. This game's going to be an interesting game. We've talked about New Oxford's senior heavy football team. They've been building for this football game for about 5 years now. So that's going to be an interesting game. And it's an interesting bracket. But let's go up. Let's talk about the big bracket. Peters Township taking on Upper St. Clair, who I was kind of surprised that they got past Woodland Hills last week, 36-26. And then you got Pine Richland, who had the other surprise last week in the Whitfield, taking on Moon. Moon got that win. Again, we talked about the fumble. But, Pine Richland has to be the favorite to come out of this, right? Or is it going to be Peters Township with a shocker?
The interesting thing with Upper St. Clair and Peters Township is senior heavy teams. And 2 really nice quarterbacks. So USC, I think, has a huge opportunity this week. I'm not sure they thought they'd be here, but they're definitely, it's well deserved, and that USC Peters Township game is going to be awesome. On the Pine Richland side, I think they roll pretty easily against Moon. You mentioned, the disputed call against Penn Trafford last week, but that USC Peters Township game is one of the best games in the state.
I think it is. Yeah. But Pine Richland, Ubi Strader, they're going to roll. That's my opinion. That's our 5A bracket. One thing we didn't talk about was Roman Catholic. Anybody want to answer the question as to why Roman Catholic has to travel to Whitehall?
We also forgot District 1, Billy.
Huh?
We forgot to talk District 1 part of the bracket.
Oh, we're not done yet. But I want to go back to Roman Catholic. Why are they not? Why do they have to travel to Whitehall?
Anthony?
They have no home field. They have no stadium to call their own. They rent stadiums from Widener University, is their home base most of the time.
Yeah.
And I think this week Widener maybe hosting senior night or maybe senior week, or like you said, those colleges use stadium for other events. Would help if they had their own stadium, but obviously the funding's not there.
That's going to be one of those things where no public team is going to handle that, or District 1 team is going to say, "Oh yeah, come play at our field." They're just not going to do it. Yeah. The last part of this bracket, Willie, Springfield. This is all Willie. Yeah. This is like Willie lived there or coached there. Strathaven, Springfield, Delco, Chester, and Ruston. Chester and Ruston start there, Willie. How did Chester get by with that? With Harris being out of the game?
They had surprisingly that they had no problem at all without Dwight Harris. They rolled out. Came right out on the field that showed a no huddle offense that just kept Garden Valley put Garden Valley's defense on their heels, and they just kept going after them. Jalen Harris showed that he doesn't need his twin to be successful, and Chester's looking like a team that is very scary in District 1. Although they will be tested this year.
Yeah, what about Ruston though? Ruston's gonna come and punch them right in the mouth.
Exactly. I know Anthony's got that game on Saturday. It's actually going to be, I think it's going to be a darn good game, a great game. Ruston with their offense that is one heavy that can control the clock, which might be the best defense Ruston has, is to go on one of those drives. And they got a fullback, Will Gardner, who's just an absolute animal.
This is a bulldog against a jackrabbit. That's what this game is. A bulldog against a jackrabbit.
It's gonna be interesting to see. I fully expect this game to come down to the final minutes and see. And it's gonna come down to who can Texas stay disciplined when they need to, because their history is having penalties at the most inopportune times. Can they clean that up and get over the hump that has been there for them in Ruston?
Yeah, upside of that bracket, Delco and Haven.
Two teams that are separated by maybe, I'm going to say, 4 or 5 miles, if that.
That's what's crazy about this bracket.
Exactly. They're all within. I'm blessed that I live within, I would say, maybe 20 minutes of all of the final 4 teams in District 1. 5A, I can get to either one of their fields in 20, 25 minutes tops. But like you said, Springfield, Garden Valley, Springfield, Strathaven, pardon me, they played just a couple weeks ago at Springfield. Springfield nipped them 10-7. You know, it's hard to beat a team twice, especially when they played you close. And Strathaven has the key factor of the man that's won a couple state championships, Kevin Clancy. But Springfield also has a great defensive mind in Chris Britton as the head coach. He picked up his 100th win, looking to lead the Cougars to another district championship appearance. That's going to be another great game on Friday night.
It's a nice bracket.
Our favorite young reporter, the young goat, got that game for us.
Yeah, he likes Strathaven, man. He's a big Strathaven fan. Nick,
if he doesn't get blown away.
Yeah,
if he doesn't get blown away,
what a history lesson, folks. You need to follow Nick Mastropolito on Twitter. He's going to give you a history lesson before every game he covers. There are very few nuggets that he does not uncover. he's a character to watch. But okay, so that's the 5A bracket. Any favorites coming out of 5A bracket, guys? Is there a team that says I'm gonna win, or I mean, I think like for me, it comes down to McDevitt and Pine Richland.
Absolutely.
And then on the other side of the bracket, Roman Catholic.
Yep, that's it. We could, if things fall a little slight bit off, could have a rematch from last year's, but I do think it's going to be Pine Richland and Roman Catholic, which will be a hell of a game anyways.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I'm on the Pine Richland train, and I think they play Roman, and I think it's an unbelievable game. Maybe more D1 kids on the field than in the 6A final this year.
Yep, there you go.
Hey, and I'm going to warn you right now, and this is one of the arguments I gave to Bob Lombardi why I need more reporters there. If Pine Richland and Roman Catholic meet on the field, both are high-powered, fast-moving offenses. Reporters are going to be like, your keyboard's going to be on fire. You're going to be running up and down the field. It's going to be that could be a great game, but we got to get there first. Before we get there, that's the 5A breakout. We did 2A earlier. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to check out the NFHS, Coach Com, Safer Sports, Circle W brackets, and we're going to break down the 3A bracket. But first, we're going to take some time to hear from some of our great sponsors. We'll be right back after these messages.
Thank you.
Coach Com is the proven and trusted leader in coaching communications. For over 30 years, we've built our business on innovation and winning with the goal
over an hour.
Get faster speeds for less money than the national companies at Center Wisp in Central Pennsylvania. Center Wisp is your fast local internet provider. For more information, go to centerwisp.com. That's CENTREWISP.com. Now with faster speeds.
PAFootballnews.com and CWTAP. Tap into the state. PAFootballnews.com and CWTAP presents their weekly highlight show, bringing you, the viewers and fans, the best of the weekend's high school and college football action and interviews from all over the state of Pennsylvania. And introducing The View from the Sidelines, where you, the fans, can send in clips of your favorite team or athletes. Simply email your links or clips to Billy@PAFootballnews.com with the subject line, The View, by Sunday morning, and we'll try and present them on the program. PAFootballnews.com and CWTAP Tap into the State. Our weekly highlight show every Tuesday at 9 on CWTAP and the next morning streaming on PFN. We got you covered.
And he's in the end zone for the touchdown. Touchdown.
Juggled and caught.
Circle W Sports is the complete all-in-one platform for high school sports, designed by former athletes, coaches, and athletic directors. Circle W Sports gives school and team personnel an easier solution to run their entire athletic departments with the help of these features. League Manager makes creating master schedules a breeze. Configure your divisions, build schedules, track league all-stars, and much, much more. Referee Manager helps assign and track game officials in the same platform. And with RefPay, your officials can get paid within within hours instead of days or weeks. Enjoy live scoring and statistical services through our Performance Tracker and Stat Tracker apps. Learn how to track your workout or camp and combine statistics in real time. Then create any type of report after your results are tallied. The Stat Tracker app helps keep your fans involved, whether they are in the stands or at home, with live in-game stats. For more information, visit CircleWSports.com, the official online platforms of PA Football News and the PSFCA Big 33.
The Cobalt Plus headset system delivers proven performance along with more users, more flexibility. That's why coaches across Pennsylvania trust Cobalt Plus. CoachCom makes tough headset systems for tough teams. We build headsets to help teams win. Call or click to learn more about Cobalt Plus from the proven leader in football communications.
Hey, welcome back to the State of PA Football. I'm Billy Splain. We're breaking down the brackets. If you did not check out PFN Taps Into the State, you should. That was an hour and a half of highlights from all over the state of Pennsylvania from our brackets from last week and all the games that PA Football News covered, as well as the NFHS network games that we were able to break down. I want to thank NFHS for being a big sponsor on our website, as well as a sponsor of that show at PFN Taps Into the State. Got to thank CWTAP. And right now, we're going to pull a picture up on the screen right here. And it's going to be a picture of the owner of CWTAP, Alex Vidrzewski. Congratulations to you and your lovely bride on being married this weekend. We're proud of you. Way to go. Now tell her to take a break. It's football still. You'll see her in December. Okay? All right, let's get on to
We're giving the doghouse Ollie.
Yeah.
You're giving the doghouse Ollie there, Bill.
All right, let's get to the 2A bracket. Avonworth, North Catholic, Imani Christian, Central Valley. Is Avonworth heading for a collision course with Imani Christian? Or will Mark Lyons take Central Valley and say, yeah, we know how to get there, so excuse me, get out the way?
Yeah, it looks like Avonworth and Imani. Imani's super talented, of course. Not a lot of depth, but a lot of talent. And then, Avonworth just super loaded and looking for redemption on that state title loss last year. So D7,
Yeah,
D7, like you said though, Mark Lyons at Central Valley, lost some players to transfers over the last couple of years. But the former Monaca on the river, right? Never count them out.
That's right, Monaca. That's a team that's a name that a lot of people don't know, a lot of younger people, but what a historic area Central Valley comes from. They opened the season with a loss to TJ actually this year, but they played Avonworth last year, and it was a 17-0 loss, but nonetheless, Central Valley wasn't supposed to be in that game either, and they were. So don't count them out. Down on the bottom side of that bracket, you've got Brockway and Penn Cambria. Penn Cambria is a cool story. I mean, Nick Fielis built this team, and he had an opportunity to go down into District 1 in Willie's territory and coach the Chamonix team, who historically is always good, but they were down for a couple of years. The Buckskins been down, but here's Penn Cambria again, and they're playing Brockley for the 6-9 playoff game and a chance to meet the winner of the Hickory Sharon game, which is going to be a huge football game. Hickory, of course, one of the best running backs in the state of Pennsylvania. He's healthy and they're scoring points, and I think Hickory is healthy when they should be. Sharon, on the other hand, this is a team where, Matt, last week you said it's always good when Berwick's winning. It's always good when Southern's winning. It's always good in the West when Sharon's winning as well, and they're winning football games.
Yeah, it's always seems to come down to Hickory and Sharon. It's been that way for quite a while. I think they called it maybe 25, 30 years ago as the game of the century, right? Those two teams matching up. So long history between those two teams. You talked about the running back Morrison. being back for Hickory. So, and don't forget about Christian Dungy, coach's kid. I think he's only a sophomore. So, whoever comes out of that game will be a good representative for D10.
Yeah, I think so. And of course, this game early in the season was a 21-19 game, so it wasn't a runaway for either team. And I think this is going to be a really good football team, or a really good football game. Just athletes all over the field. We talked about both of these schools in the preseason in our rankings meeting, and Sharon kind of disappeared for a little bit. Then Hickory kind of disappeared for a little bit, and then they both came back. But I know Shane Lux was telling us, we got to drop them out, but they're coming back. And he was right; they did. Other side of the bracket is a really crazy, amazing side of the bracket. Let's go to that LaSalle College MOTEP game. Anthony, how do we end up with this game?
So we end up with this game because LaSalle finally got over the hump and were able to knock off the defending champ St. Joe's Prep, which was big for their program because that's been like the game that they just couldn't go over the hump. They play competitive and they come down to the wire.
Hold on. I skipped the bracket. I went right to 6A. That's my bad. Matt, why do you stop me? Why do you stop me? We're going to go to
I was going to see how far you're going to go.
Newman Goretti. Tell me about this game Newman Goretti has to play this week, Anthony.
Yeah. Newman Goretti.
Newman Goretti is a shoe in to win because they're not playing this week.
Yeah,
I'm thinking the
not playing anybody because they're the only team that's available after they knocked Botrom out. Berks Catholic taking on Trinity. I like Berks Catholic in this game. Berks Catholic's been building all year long for this game, and here they are, Matt, taking on a Trinity team that has lots of talent. But I think this game is probably one of the biggest toss-up games of the weekend.
Yeah, when that District 3 tournament bracket came out, I said Trinity's my upset special, that they're going to run the table. They beat Anvil Cleona, number 2 seed, and now they got a shot at Berks. So I'm sticking with the Shamrocks. I think they win the district. It's not going to be an easy game for Trinity. I saw them play Susquehanna Township. I like what I saw, so sticking with the Shamrocks.
Down on the other side of the bracket, Notre Dame Green Pond, Northwestern Lehigh. This is another one of those games where it could quite possibly be, if you love filling out box scores, this is where you want to go. If you hate box scores, don't. Because both the teams can score. I mean, North Schuylkill played Northwestern Lehigh tight. It was 14, or I think it was 21-14 at one point in the game. When one of the craziest plays happened, and I'm going to take a second here, and I want to show you guys this play. So we're going to pull it up here. So we all know Luke Miller scores touchdowns, right, Matt? So on this play, the quarterback sits in shotgun, takes the snap, rolls to his right. Nothing there, turns back, runs into the line. As he hits the line, he goes nowhere. One of his linemen grabs the ball. A Northwestern lineman pops the ball right out of his arm. And who's there to scoop it in the backfield and run into the end zone? Luke Miller. What a crazy play that was. And, just an amazing play. But, of course, Northwestern Lehigh pulled off the win. And Notre Dame Green Pond all over Tamaqua this past weekend. But this is kind of a matchup we saw coming a long time ago, right, Matt?
Yeah, and when I see this matchup, I see the matchup of really two nice quarterbacks with Shane Lay and Matt Bodner. Two fun quarterbacks to watch play. Northwestern Lehigh, returning state champs and definitely the favorite in this game. But if you're looking for a game, like you said, to use every light bulb on the scoreboard, this might be it.
And then up north, Mifflinburg taking on Scranton Prep. Mifflinburg just keeps. Chad Martin is a great quarterback. He's a great athlete. He scored on his feet last week. He scored through the air last week. This is a Mifflinburg that seems to be a team of destiny. This is also a matchup I thought we'd see. Even though I was happy for my Berwick Bulldogs, I did not think they would beat Mifflinburg, and I think this is a really good matchup with Scranton Prep. But Mifflinburg has one problem, right, Jared?
Mifflinburg's got one problem, and I'm going to tell you what it is. Scranton Prep is absolutely on fire right now, and I don't think anybody wants to play them. And it's a product of just them clicking on every part of their game right now, and getting Will McPartland back. And that kid is a killer. I don't think there's much. He is so confident on the field right now. You would never know that he tore all those knee ligaments, 8 months ago or whatever. The kid he is really, really amazing.
It's tough
crazy.
because 2 years ago, Scranton had a superstar running back who blew his knee out as well.
Yep.
So I don't know what's going on up there. They need to work on those knees up there.
I have no idea. But this is going to be a hell of a game.
They're playing good football, but I will say this, and we were kind of a little bit rough on them early on, but Mifflinburg is also playing some really good football. I mean, they're destroying teams, 56-14 over Danville, 35-12 over Montoursville, and they're just pounding away at teams as well. So this is going to be an interesting game for sure.
Yep. And we got good guys covering it too. So
we got Davin covering it. Davin got his dream game. Well, it wasn't his dream, but So
Davin and Jake will cover every angle of that game possible. So enjoy it.
They will, and Anthony will bring in next week to talk about District 12 and 3A. So sorry, there's nothing for you to talk about right now. Hey, that's the 3A bracket. Now we're going to switch over to the 6A bracket. Let's just go right to it. All right, we started it. LaSalle is taking on Imhotep. How did we get to this?
For LaSalle, they finally got over the hump. They knocked off St. Joe's Prep. They beat them twice this year. They're a senior-led team, so for them, this is the final chance to cement their legacy and go for a state title. For Imhotep, they got their revenge last week because 3 weeks ago they played Lincoln in a regular season finale. They were heavy favorites because Lincoln was shorthanded, and they didn't have a few coaches as well. And Lincoln upset Imhotep. So a lot of people had Lincoln winning last week, and Imhotep came out, did what they have to do. Offensively, they didn't score the points they probably wanted, but their defense was stout. They weren't giving anything up. So I look for a competitive game with LaSalle. Imhotep, I've talked to their coaches. They know they're coming in. Most people have them as underdogs. They didn't play well against St. Joe's Prep in the District 12 championship last year. So that's kind of a sour taste in their mouth. Imhotep has athletes. Their quarterback is a 2-year starter, Joey McLeish. He's thrown for over 2,000 yards. They have about 3 receivers that all have over 500 yards receiving. They have a great sophomore running back in Yazid. He's over 500 yards rushing. And a lot of their games within the public league, they only played half because they were blowing the public league teams out. Other than Lincoln.
And the reason their numbers are so low is because they were the better. I mean, Imhotep didn't play 12 games like a lot of teams did. They had teams fold on them, and they had teams that had to forfeit against them. So it's crazy. So you look at LaSalle as a favorite, but I'm going to call it the game of the weekend. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I think this is the game of the weekend, Matt. Easton and Parkland.
Yeah, I know in the EPC, District 11, that's probably the game that everybody's been waiting for. TJ Lawrence for Parkland is a tremendous athlete. Had the opportunity to see him play twice this year. against Whitehall and Nazareth. Finn Cohen at quarterback, also good decision maker. And, I think Parkland's the better team in this matchup. If it wasn't for LaSalle, I think Parkland might be the best team in that bracket. I think a couple of weeks I told you if St. Joe's Prep beat LaSalle, that Parkland was going to win a state title. And that's how much I believe in Parkland. So not that the game against Easton is going to be a walk, because that's a big matchup and either team can win. But I really like that Parkland team.
North Penn taking on the Neshaminy. We've got the old goat at a coach taking on the young Nick Felis, Willie.
The old suburban rivals meet up again.
Dick Beck, man, he's got him rolling.
There's a few things in life that I've come to. No, you can never doubt a Dick Beck coach team. I mean, going back to when I was in high school in 2000, in the early 2000s, and he took over from Mike Penn Jr. He just kept the program building, brought them a state title. He won a state title. He's won a lot of games up there. He knows how to win, and his offenses are meant for November. Even though he's gone a little more spread of late, but Mac Pownell, Riley Gray, all tremendous athletes for them.
Yeah, Neshaminy, though, you can't overlook Neshaminy. The skin's always tough. They've been down a couple of years, though, but Nick Felis has the skins rolling right now.
What a great job he's done bringing them, resurrecting that program from being down for a couple of years. Being on paper, they were I think they were like the 12th seed or some 11th seed, and the point of Cinderella. You know what? These two teams know each other as good as anybody. Anything happen on this one?
Matt Ortega's healthy. Coatesville taking on Penridge. So this is kind of like a Coatesville team we expected a lot out of, and they kind of slid down the road a little bit. And a Penridge team that just came out of the left field garbage can. And here they are. I mean,
I'll be honest. I mean this as no disrespect to what Coach Bell has done up in Penridge. They are one team I did not have coming in this far in District 1 playoffs. Especially being that they were showed down a couple years ago. But you know what? Noah Keaton's playing now with minor quarterback for them. But he's going to have his hands full against a tough Coatesville defense, which is going to be a great battle to see what happens there. Coatesville, they had their struggles earlier this year without Matt Ortega Jr., but you know what? He's back, and look out District 1.
That's what we talked about with Coatesville in the beginning of the year. We said with Matt Ortega Jr., we said this is going to be a good football team, and then out he went, and it's exactly what happened. That's unusual for a 6A team. I mean, you take a look at Nazareth. Nazareth lost one of the best quarterbacks in the state of Pennsylvania, and they kept winning. So it's unusual for a 6A team to lose a player and then go down. But here's Coatesville. They're playing football again.
For those fans of the guys up front, Coatesville had one of the best offensive linemen in the state in Maxwell. Hitler, I want to say the last name is. I'm not 100% positive on that. And so watch him. He's had plenty of D1 offers. He can be a game changer. Be interesting to see.
Yeah, big bracket. We're going to talk about another side of the bracket here. Central York and Wilson. Fear the Beard. Wilson is a team who just down in District 3. They just grind through. Fear the Beard. Coach Doms. I mean, they're just grinding through. But I think, and usually they end up playing like Manheim Township or Harrisburg for the District 3 title. But I think this year, things are a little different. I mean, Colin Gurley from Central York, they're a good football team. And, they've got Brendan Smith, just some really good football players at Central York. Jerry Youngchuck, I never count him out. He's a good football player, good football coach. Saxon Shukonic, lots. They've just had all kind of players down there. But Central York is rolling this year, and I don't think Wilson is going to stop them this year. I think they move on. Harrisburg and Manheim Township is another big game, Matt.
Yeah, it seems like these two teams match up either in a district final or a semifinal every single year. And Harrisburg's got the better of them over the past few years. Township lost some kids to graduation, and they were down a little bit last year, but it looks like they're back this year. By no means is this an easy win for Harrisburg. And the last few weeks, Harrisburg has struggled to score. I don't know if they're using all their guns, but last week didn't put up a lot of points against Central Dauphin. I saw them play Central Dauphin the first time around and didn't put up a lot of points in that game either. So I don't know if the Cougars can turn it on and off. They definitely have the talent to do it. But they need to be firing on all cylinders to get past the blue streaks this week.
Yeah, and you never know. Like Mickens has been in and out for Harrisburg, so you don't know if he's in, you don't know if he's out. But they do. I mean, Shank is a great athlete, and he can throw the ball long, and so that's what they're going to do. But Township, I don't think Township has a kid like they did last year who's leading the team. I think this is a team effort for the Blue Streaks. This is it. We're going to break down the last part. State College and Wilkes-Barre. State College is a team that I never thought would be where they are right now. I know they advance kind of by default or not. What I mean is I didn't think they'd be as good as they are. This is a football team who has zero studs, but a whole bunch of really good football players. And you've got Matt Lentau and his group coaching, and they do a great job every year. And the Little Lions are a team that I wouldn't even count them out for going to the state championship because they're very good. And I have a feeling, Jared, they're going to get a lot of rest in the second half against Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, the only thing that can probably change things up a little bit is Wilkes-Barre does have some team speed, especially on offense, and their quarterback threw for almost 2,600 yards this year. He's a top quarterback in District 2, Jake Howe. He's a really good player. But I just don't think they have enough, and definitely not defensively. I mean, they have a good defensive backfield. They got speed, but they just don't have the same guys that they had last year. It may be over early. You're right.
Still a great year for Wilkes-Barre, 8-4. What a turnaround for Coach Sinti. I love that guy. I mean, the Sinti brothers, both of them. I love both of them.
It's hard not to root for them.
Just
it
great
really
guys.
Is. They're great guys.
Great guys.
They are
did an interview with them earlier this year.
Yep, they are universally loved up here in District 2. Everybody has full respect for those guys. They love them, and so do I. They're great guys.
Yeah, we had them on a show earlier this year. If you remember, we were up at one of our former sponsors, and it was a good show. And then finally, Matt, let's talk about it. The biggest line in the state, Pittsburgh Central Catholic against a North Allegheny team that everybody's been down on, but I mean, here they are at 8-3. I mean, is this a team that can win this football game?
I mean, the word out of the WPIAL on North Allegheny is that they haven't been playing all their kids the last few weeks. And that was kind of what a lot of people pointed to when they got whacked by Pine Richland. PCC definitely the favorite. But if you want to look down the road a little bit, I'm not sure PCC is as dominant as they have been in past years. If you're looking for an upset special, like a State College over PCC, I wouldn't be surprised.
I would not be surprised either. and that's why I mentioned State College. You know, I said it earlier this year. This might be, I mean, of all the teams that State College has had, with all the studs that they've had, this might be one of the best teams that Matt Littell has put together.
Yeah, the strength of that team is their offensive line. They got 4 or 5 of kids came back, and to your point, which State College a little bit surprising how successful they've been this year. They graduated 31 kids last year.
Yeah, that's
9 of those kids play college ball. So, but they got a nice defensive backfield. Yep.
It's going to be interesting. We got Noah Radio. He's going to be at that game, and the Wilkes-Barre game. So yeah, you never know. That's the breakdown for the weekend, guys. What are you looking forward to, each of you, for this coming weekend? I know what I'm looking forward to. Matt, what do you got going on?
For me, it's that 2A bracket: Troy and Southern Columbia, and Schuylkill Haven against Williams Valley.
Yeah. Willie.
For me, I'm looking forward to the 4A battle this week between North Pocono and Bishop Shanahan, the best of District 2 taking on the best of District 1. And from everything, we're going to see who's the better team. And I'm looking forward to that. Me and Zach may be talking who winner get losers winner pizza on that game, but let's not discuss that.
Wait, that's a good bet. Philadelphia pizza against Old Forge pizza. That's a good bet.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Good
that
times.
is a good bet. Yeah, Jared, what do you?
We all know Trevor Matt loves his pizza too.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, I've got. Listen, I never mind going out of my comfort zone to go and see good football. So I've got Exeter Township at Bishop McDevitt Friday night, which I'm really looking forward to going and seeing that. It'll be a great experience. But then Saturday is the one I've been looking for a long time. Line Mountain at Lackawanna Trail in Shamokin. Like that's just huge there. I mean, 2 great teams, and then I get to see it in Shamokin, which is even better. So like it's just a win-win-win, man. I love it.
Wait. I'm going to give you a win you may not realize you have. Go up to the press box, right, Matt?
Yeah, I mean,
introduce yourself.
You can smell the press box when you get on the field. There's some good grub up there.
Nice.
Dude, I mean, they are going to take care of you the way no Pollock has ever taken care of you.
They got back to me immediately. You guys must have set the legend well down there. That's great.
They love us, man. They love us.
Yeah,
we're not the
obviously
Gilson brothers, but they love us. Anthony, your weekend looks like
Chester and Ruston. So
that's gonna be a big one,
yeah, high fast offense. I've covered Chester already. Willie gives me the lowdown on Ruston, so I'm ready. I think it'll be a backyard brawl. Chester's physical. I've seen him play a couple times, and Ruston, I'm expecting a battle.
I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in that Easton Parkland game. I am. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. That's going to be because if Easton wins, then they got to play a game next week, and then it's Thanksgiving. Then they'll have to play. They could have to play again. And so that's going to be an interesting. That's going to be brutal for Easton. Even though when they get to Thanksgiving, they're not going to play their starters. Obviously, I mean they won't even see the field if they win. But still, it's going to be interesting. Also, I'm excited to go out to Carn City again. It's been a long time since I've been to Carn City. The last time I was there, I think they were taking on Clarion. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not positive about that one. Actually, no, I was in Clarion for a football game. Carn City was taking on Red Bank Valley. That's who it was. And so that was a game there. It's an interesting path to Carn City. I'm excited to go. I'm excited for everyone to see football this weekend. For the rest of my staff, this has been the State of PA Football on CWTAP. I hope you check out PFN Taps Into the State. You can go to our website right here. you find this logo, you click on it, and you can find highlights from all year long. We're going to be working on a highlight show for the entire year. I don't think I've announced that to my staff. You guys are hearing that for the first time. So we're going to be pulling highlights from the entire year and putting them into a nice 2-hour package. And I hope you go out and check out a football game. Go to a live football game. If you can absolutely not make it to a live football game, go to NFHS. You can go to our brackets page right here. Click through our brackets, and you'll be able to see everything in red is an NFHS game. I believe almost every game this weekend is streamed on NFHS. So check out a game and watch a game at the same time. I'm Billy Splain. This has been the State of PA Football News. We'll see you somewhere on the sidelines. Look for those PFN symbols. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
At PAFootballNews.com, we've got you covered. If you're looking for the best coverage of high school football in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, check out PAFootballNews.com. From schedules to rankings, game coverage to Friday night scoreboard, live streams, and more, PA Football News is the one-stop shop for everything high school football in Pennsylvania. Follow us on Twitter at PA Football News and visit us at PAFootballNews.com. We got you covered.